Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Jason. It's Art of Christian Homestead. And in case you haven't figured this out, we do a devotional every week, every Sunday. Okay, we do a devotional, and obviously Christmas is coming up. It's 6 days away now at this point. This is Sunday, so Saturday is Christmas, and I love Christmas music to an extent. I don't like all the frou silly Christmas songs, but I do enjoy some good, powerful, faith-based Christmas music. And one of my favorites, I guess my favorite Christmas song is "Mary, Did You Know," but by Jordan Smith. Okay, Jordan Smith, voice winner from season whatever it is, I don't know, a long time ago, does an amazing version of "Mary, Did You Know," and "Mary, Did You Know" is a very powerful song. He does it in a very powerful manner, and there's a line in there that says, "Mary, did you know that your baby boy would calm the storms with his hand?" He would calm the storms with his hand, and that made me think. It made me think this week when I was listening to it about calming the storms with his hand, and it reminded me of the time when Jesus walked on the water and going towards the boat with Peter and other disciples in there. And it's Matthew 14. I'm not going to read the whole passage, but I will read through some of it just as we talk about it. But Matthew 14, he talks about, so it starts in verse 22, okay? So in verse 22, he talks about how he just fed the 5,000, or just fed multitudes, 4,000 or 5,000 people, or men and their families. And he had dismissed the crowd, and the disciples went on ahead of him, got in a boat. Okay. And then, so verse 24 says, "But the boat was already a considerable distance from the land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it." So it was on a little bit of a storm. Okay. Wind was pressing the boat out. And then verse 26 said the disciples saw him walking on the lake, and they were terrified. "It's a ghost," and they cried out in fear. Okay. So Jesus was going out to them. The wind had pushed them way away from where they were supposed to be. And Jesus said, "Okay, I'm going to walk out to them." Right? Okay. And so Jesus told them, verse 27 says, Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid." And Peter said, "Hey, if it's you, tell me to come out." All right, so that's 28. That's paraphrase, right? And Jesus had told him, "Hey, look, all right, come on out then." And so Peter got out there, started walking on the water. But in verse 30, it said, "But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, 'Lord, save me.'" So Peter got out there, was walking, but he realized all the turmoil that was around him. The wind was pushing around him, and he messed up and began to sink because he realized, hey, heck, this is a little crazy here, right? And in verse 31, immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" In verse 32, and when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. When Jesus got in his boat, everything calmed down. You know, the time when Mary and Joseph had Jesus was not this peaceful time in their world. There was a lot of turmoil going on around them. There was political unrest. There was political and religious extremists that were ramping up the issues that were already at hand. The leader, King Herod the Great, was a tyrant who, depending on the time that a scholar might say Jesus was actually born, depends on where it was at. Obviously, Herod was alive at the time Jesus was born because he ordered people to go seek him out. It's because Herod wanted him killed. Herod was killing all the male babies at the time anyways. So Herod was killing people like mad, killing his own family, killing all the males in other past dynasties, was killing everybody for treason, for everything. Some people believe that Herod had a mental illness, and he probably did, but he was just evil, right? The motives was just evil, mental illness or not, he was evil. But towns were getting overtaken. Towns and cities were getting overtaken and plundered. Palaces were getting burned down. It was not a fun time to be in that region. It simply was not. But yet Jesus was being brought onto the scene. And in the times after that, things calmed down a little bit. But Jesus was being brought to the scene in the middle of all this stuff. Mary and Joseph was running back and forth, moving towns. Obviously, he was born in Bethlehem. They went to Egypt, settled down in Nazareth. I mean, there was some crazy times. He was called a Nazarene, right? But he was born in Bethlehem. But yet they lived in Egypt for a little while. Jesus had God had told them to, in a dream, take your boy and go to Egypt. Why would they go to Egypt? Egypt was a land of slavery for the Jews for so long, right? But it was a tumultuous time. And no matter what the situation is in your life, there's turmoil sometimes. There's times that you're at unrest. No matter what's going on, no matter what. I ain't not talking about society right now. I'm just talking about just your life. You go through problems. You go through stuff sometimes, and you go through times that, whether or not it's your health, whether or not it's your job, or your family, or just things going on in your mind. Because let's face it, we deal with that sometimes. That's real. We deal with things like that. That's just real life. You bring Jesus onto the scene, he will calm down your storms. You deal with storms in life, whether or not they're self-inflicted, whether or not they're brought on by people around you. You get storms. I mean, the weather's not always nice. Heck, here in Ohio, you get tornado warnings sometimes. Obviously, there's been extreme weather around our country, but I mean, everybody deals with extremities in their life. Things happen. And I just want to encourage you today to get Jesus in your boat. Get Jesus in your boat and he'll calm the storms. The winds will die down. And you know what? Maybe things don't necessarily get better immediately. But he gives peace to your soul. He gives peace to yourself, and to your mind, to your heart. Because he's there. He takes care of stuff. Man, just get Jesus in your boat. He comes on, you bring Jesus to the scene, and you will have that peace that surpasses all understanding. He will bring you peace. He brings peace. What does it say? Peace on earth and goodwill toward men, right? Peace. Peace into your soul. Peace into your mind. And that is one of the central messages in Jesus' life. Is peace. Jesus dying on the cross brought peace between you and God through faith. Jesus coming into situations brought peace. He always brought peace with him. Because there's not disorder with Jesus. There's always peace with Jesus. There's not constant storms with Jesus. He brings peace to those storms. Things might happen around him, but Jesus stops them. Right? The other time when Jesus was in the boat, he was asleep. They got in a storm and the disciples were freaking out. And Jesus woke up and said, "Hey, what's going on? Why do you doubt? Peace be still." And calm the storms with his hand, which is what the song was referencing. Jesus calms these storms, whether or not it's the stuff around you settles down, or just settles things in your heart and your mind. Get Jesus in your boat. Bring Jesus onto the scene of your life. Don't forget that he's there. that He loves you, He cares for you, and that He, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, is the most powerful entity in this galaxy, in the universe. There's nothing that can overpower Him or overtake Him if you allow Him in your life. So again, encourage you, get Jesus in your boat. Have peace this Christmas season. It's not always going to be turmoil. So I love you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, my name is Jason. This is Art of Creation Homestead. God bless you and goodbye.